Glad to have you with us here on Ravens Rundown. Tyler Jones here, and on today's show, we're going to go over all 22 starters for the Baltimore Ravens offense and defense as projected by Bleacher Report. We'll show you what they had to say for the Ravens lineup, and we'll react to it piece by piece coming up here on today's show. Before we get to that, though, folks, yours truly got another year older. I am now 28 officially, and I'm starting to feel a little bit older. 2 more years away from 30. Oh, no. Cover my eyes, right? I don't need any birthday wishes or anything like that, folks, but I do need a little advice. What do I need to know about turning 28? What advice would you give me as I begin this next chapter on this journey we call life? Let me know in the comments section. Give me some advice for turning 28 years old, and we'll get started with today's show. Let's begin with the Ravens outlook from Alex Ballantyne of Bleacher Report before we go over his projected starters here. Ballantyne said the following: the Ravens are another team whose 3 receiver sets don't adequately show the talent they have on offense. Isaiah Likely is one of the best pass-catching options they have when they play him with Mark Andrews. The offensive line is a real concern for 2024. Roger Rosengarten is on track to compete with Daniel Falele at right tackle. Ronnie Stanley and Tyler Linderbaum are the only returning starters. Here's the thing. With all the changes the Baltimore Ravens have endured entering 2024, with 20-plus free agents this offseason and guys coming in and out, faces change, but expectations don't in Baltimore. This is a team that, even with all that they've been through, with this team looking much different than what it did last season, that doesn't change. The Ravens are still expected to be the favorites in the division, contending for a Super Bowl, and put their best foot forward here. So even with that said, this Ravens team, this is the assignment ahead. It's to get over the hump and get to that Super Bowl this year. With that said, let's go over the Ravens starters. No shocker, Lamar Jackson, your starting QB, coming off a MVP season, the second of his career, for the future first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback. At running back, Derrick Henry will be your RB1, and one difference to the Ravens' strength, comparably speaking to a season ago, is the depth that they have at the running back position. Not just a star in Derrick Henry, one of the best in the league at his position. You bring in Rasheen Ali out of Marshall. I think he's going to be a very good back. Justice Hill returns. And then Keaton Mitchell, coming off a strong rookie campaign as a UDFA last year. Probably won't be able to give it a go when the season starts, but you have some options in that running back room. The wide receiver room, this is where things start to get a little dicey. Zay Flowers will be your wide receiver 1, coming off a very impressive rookie season. I think his role is going to increase. But then you have some question marks beyond that. Rashad Bateman is given a golden opportunity here as he steps in as the wide receiver 2 with the departure of Odell Beckham Jr. You got Nelson Aguilar, who we'll talk about coming up in just a bit, as well as another option. But you don't have a ton of depth at the receiver position. And one of the things I'm looking for is the possibility of the Ravens investing at the wide receiver position. I think it's still possible, whether it be a trade or a free agent signing. I don't disagree with Bateman being the number 2 receiver right now. That's accurate. But we have to acknowledge, though, the pressure on Bateman to perform, as he's dealt with the injury issues over the years. He's been inconsistent. Todd Monken, Lamar Jackson, John Harbaugh, they're saying all the right things. But Bateman's still got to deliver it on the football field, and that remains to be seen. Do you believe in Rashad Bateman? What do you guys think? It's our pinned comment today. Weigh in, tell us what you think. B for believe, D for don't. Chime in the comment section, tell me what you think. Nelson Aguilar, that number 3 receiver for the Baltimore Ravens. Mark Andrews slides in back to the tight end 1 role after missing the end of the regular season, but a lot of confidence in Isaiah Likely. I think you'll see a lot of 2 tight end sets with both of them on the football field together. Ronnie Stanley's back at left tackle, while Andrew Voorhees, the second-year player who was out last season, a redshirt year, if you will, is expected to step into the starting left guard position. I still think the Ravens need to add one more receiver option before the season begins. Aguilar, I don't like the idea of him being your wide receiver 3. Another year older. I know he showed some flashes last year, but he's been inconsistent throughout his career. If Aguilar is your number 4 receiver, He's the best number 4 receiver in the NFL. I would feel much better if the Ravens find another receiver option. And maybe Tez Walker steps in and shines and becomes your number 3 wideout. But if Aguilar's that number 3 guy when the season begins, I'm going to be a little concerned there. Continuing on the offensive line, Tyler Linderbaum is back at the center position, one of the best centers in the entire National Football League. And Ben Cleveland slides in at the starting right guard spot. The beard man that looks like he's straight from Duck Dynasty is looking to get his opportunity to start at that right guard spot, while the rookie Roger Rosengarten from Washington should be your starting right tackle when the season begins. Now, when it comes to Ben Cleveland, the Ravens have never really shown confidence in Ben Cleveland. He's been given opportunity after opportunity and never really executed, right? Don't be surprised if he gets beat out, whether it's somebody on the roster or if the Ravens make a potential move to try to go find another guard out there. I don't know how much they trust Ben Cleveland to take on one of those starting offensive guard spots. He's the favorite for now, but let's see how he performs when it comes to camp, in the preseason and all that, and if the Ravens need to make any other changes there. When the season begins, will Ben Cleveland be the Ravens starting right guard? What do you guys think? Y for yes, N for no. Tell me if you think Cleveland's going to be that guy or not. Let's go to the defense now. Adafe Owe will be a starting edge rusher for this team, while Michael Pierce will be at the defensive tackle spot. Justin Madubuike at D tackle, as well as Kyle Van Noy at the edge rusher position. Van Noy coming off a very good bounce-back season in his first year in Baltimore. He got paid a nice chunk of change to return this season. Meanwhile, the linebacker room, Roquan Smith, he's one of the highest-paid players on this Ravens team and the best player at his position in football. Roquan Smith has been awesome for this Ravens team. Trenton Simpson stepping in to replace Patrick Queen at the opposite linebacker spot from Roquan Smith. And although Trenton Simpson looked like a deer in headlights at times last year, we've heard that throughout these OTAs and this offseason that Trenton Simpson has impressed, that the coaching staff seems optimistic about him going forward. And think about this too. Losing Patrick Queen, a very good football player, but his best years, his performance was not at an elite level until Roquan Smith showed up and took a lot of the pressure off of Patrick Queen. I think that Roquan Smith is going to make Trenton Simpson look really good, and that'll help lessen the blow, if you will, of the departure of Patrick Queen with what Roquan Smith's going to do. Marlon Humphrey at the corner position for the Baltimore Ravens, and Nate Wiggins at the other outside corner spot. And I'll say this. There are a lot of Brandon Stephens defenders that are in my comment section here on Ravens Rundown all the time. A lot of you saying, let's go Brandon, all the time. I know it's going to rub some folks the wrong way, seeing Wiggins starting over Stephens, but the truth of the matter is Wiggins is the future. He is ready right now to be a starting outside corner in this league and has much higher upside than Stephens does. I think last year what we saw from Brandon Stephens is about as good as it gets from Brandon Stephens. And don't take this the wrong way. I like Brandon Stephens, but whether they move him to nickel or he's the backup outside corner option, that's going to be the role for Brandon Stephens. I do think Nate Wiggins earns that job, and you keep the All-Pro with Marlon Humphrey on the other side. Which corner would you select to start on the outside? Is it Nate Wiggins or is it Brandon Stephens? Type BS for Brandon Stephens. Type NW for Nate Wiggins. Let us know in the comments section below. Speaking of Nate Wiggins, his jerseys are on sale now. Chatsports.com/Wiggins. Got the purple option, the black, the white. Got all sorts of different shapes and sizes for you, men's and women's options. Father's Day coming up soon. Get Dad a Nate Wiggins jersey. Might stumble upon some free shipping as well. Go see for yourself. Chatsports.com/Wiggins is the website where we have these jerseys on sale. They're going hot, folks. Get yours today. Link is in the comments and description of today's video, chatsports.com/Wiggins. Then we finish off the rest of the secondary. Arthur Mollett slides into the nickelback spot, while Kyle Hamilton's at safety and Marcus Williams at the other safety position. And one thing to keep an eye on, all right, is that we saw the Ravens at times last year do those 3 safety looks, where Geno Stone, even though he was the number 3 safety, got to start a decent amount last season with playing the 3 safety look, right? I expect the Ravens to add one more safety into the mix here in 2024. We've seen Jamal Adams' name thrown around. We've seen Tony Jefferson's name mentioned for potential return to Baltimore. I think that you're going to see the Ravens in their lineup start 3 safeties, add an additional safety, and really go from there as far as that goes. So that's one thing I would differ as far as Bleacher Report. Look for them to play 3 safety looks a decent amount this year. So with that, Bleacher Report's projection of the Ravens starters, how would you grade it? Whip out your red pen for me. A, B, C, D, or F. What do you think of this? I think it's a really good group. I got A- on the Ravens starters. What do you guys think? Weigh in the comment section. Let us know, and we'll see you next time here on Ravens Rundown.